I get a lot of questions lately on subnetting, mostly in like private messages on Discord, stuff like that. And a lot of people say they just didn't learn it correctly or they just didn't understand it, things like that, right? So I'm going to teach today the goalpost method. Right, I find that to be the easiest way, and we're going to go from there. So the very first thing I do, anytime I do subnetting, I'm obviously, as you guys know by now, I work in networking. So if I don't know how to subnet, we got some big problems, right? The very first thing that I do is I write down 1, 2, 4, 8. And you notice I'm just times it by 2 each time. 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. Now, usually the networks that I work on are always /24s. All right. So they're always /24 networks. Okay. That's 256. You can keep going. 512, 1024, right? 2048. All right. We're just times it by 2 each time. 4096. All right. But we're going to be working within this range right here. 256 down to 1. All right. I know that this may be, some of you guys may be like, why the hell are we doing subnetting? Got a lot of questions on it. A lot of questions. So I wanted to bust this out, get this out there, okay? The very last thing that we can have is a /32. That's the very last thing. You guys may have heard of /24, /24, /24. /24 is right at 256. That's /24, right? The very last thing that we can have is a /32. I like to work from right to left whenever I'm doing subnetting. So if I do a /32, and it's not going to let me do that slash, right? So I'm going to have to do like a, oh man, that's going to be annoying. Ooh, can we just do text on all these? Let's see if we can just make it so it just does text. Filter, sort, format cells. Oh, I'm getting there. And we just want text. Okay, let's try that. /32, and of course it's still not going to let me because it's an asshole. What if I do it this way? All right, I know that's the wrong way, but Windows. /31, /30, right? /29, /28, /27, /26, /25, /24. Okay, we keep going. /23, 22, 21, 20, all the way down. All right. This is what is known, even though it's incorrect. Okay, this is incorrect. This is what is known as a Class C network. The classes aren't a thing anymore. All right, we have variable length subnet masking now. The classes are not a thing. People will still say, oh, it's a Class C. It's not a Class C. Class C meant that you had a /24, and that was the only thing you could do. You could just put everything inside there. You couldn't come up with different VLANs. You couldn't variable length subnet mask, right? That's what that meant. That was a legacy thing. It's still said today. So if you ever hear Class C, that is a /24. Class B is a /16. Class A is a /8. If you're working on a Class A network and you don't know how to subnet, you're in the wrong position. All right? Because you are working with some big ass numbers. All right, so now let's go ahead and start with 2 here because 1 is useless, right? Let's go ahead and start with 2 here, and we're going to subtract each of these guys. Okay? We're going to subtract them by, most people say by 2. I like to subtract them by 3. The reason I like to subtract them by 3 is because you have your network, you have your broadcast, you also need a gateway. Unless you're working on Cisco and you do the /31 and it's a Cisco router to a Cisco router, right? Then you need a gateway. That's the only one that can do it is Cisco to Cisco. It's proprietary to them, and they can do a /31 to each other, and that's it. All right, so I like to subtract it by 3. Okay, so I like to do a 253 like right here. This is how many hosts I can have, how many actual computers can be on the network, right? 253 if everything works correctly. All right, 125. Okay, 61. We're just subtracting by 3. 29. Now, let me back up for a second. If you are taking a test, you subtract it by 2. Okay, so if you're taking a Cisco test, a Net Plus test, a Sec Plus test, you're subtracting this number by 2. All right, you're only getting rid of hosting broadcast. For some reason, they seem to think that the gateway just fucking magically just comes in at some point, all right? And it doesn't take up a host IP address. So if you are taking a test, you subtract it by 2. In real world, if you need 254 computers and you have a /24, someone's not going to get a computer because someone has a gateway. All right. So we're going to do 13. Then we're going to do 5. and then we're going to say 1. All right. This is only for Cisco, like right here. Cisco proprietary. All right. So we don't even have to worry about that. Because if you're getting to a /31 and you're doing Cisco proprietary stuff, you already have a really good concept of what the hell is going on with all this, right? So, and then this is going to get rid of the network, the broadcast, and also the gateway. Remember, if you're taking a test, you always subtract this number up here by 2. Okay? This is how many IPs you have. This is how many useful IPs you have now for your host, right? This is your CIDR notation. This up here is IPs. Okay, how many IP addresses you can actually have. Okay. Now, what we're going to do from here is we're going to make a goalpost. We're going to say network, host, broadcast. So we have the network, host, broadcast address, right? The very first thing we need to do is we need to start from biggest to smallest. So let's say there is 59 computers, right? 59 computers. We'll say that there is 22 phones. All right. We'll say there's 6 printers. See, most of you, if I would have said 6 printers and you guys are in school, like right now, you would say do that, but then all of a sudden you'd be missing a printer. So we'll say there's 6 printers, right? And then we'll say there's, 2 VTC devices, right? So video teleconference devices, right? We always want to start from biggest to smallest. No matter how you see these numbers, all right, go ahead and lay them out to the side and go from biggest to smallest. Very first thing we have is 59. We obviously need to do a /26, which can have 61 hosts. Now remember, this is just right now, right? We're not looking in the future for expansion, things like that, right? This is just a subnetting class right now on this, right? In real life, I'd probably do a /25 on this guy because most likely it's going to grow. 59 hosts is pretty close to 61. There's always going to be that random guy. It's like, I need a computer, so, oh, wow, well, we're out of IPs. That's not really an answer when you actually do have IPs, all right? So we're going to start from biggest to smallest, right? So the very first thing we're going to do, we start with this 59. We can do a /26 for our starter notation, right? Our host, we can have 61 hosts in there. And it's a 64 up here, right? So we're going to do a 0. Okay, we're going to start off all the time with 0. And then we're going to add 64 onto it. 64. 0 plus 64 is 64. Subtract 1 for the broadcast. 63. Now in between your host, even though 1 is used for the gateway, but your host is 1 through 62. What do you think .1 is? That's most likely a router, right? It's most likely your gateway address. But right now, that is our very first one. So this is the computers, right? Okay, easy freaking day so far, right? Easy day. Okay. We will get into the 255, 255, 255 here in a second, all right? That's it. So we got that. Now we need 22 phones. Okay. A /27 who can hold 29 IP addresses, has 32 IPs, can do the phones one. So let's go up to the 32, right? If you're confused, always take the even number. If you haven't noticed yet, if you subtract by 3, always take the even number. All right? Hey, Compromise, how you doing? So let's add 32 onto 64. So we can do that would be 96, right? 96. All right, subtract 1 from 96, 95. Okay, in between, we have 65 through 94. You will always have even numbers on the network side. You will always have odd numbers on the broadcast side. You will always start with an odd number in the host and end with an even number. Okay, so if you're starting to see odd numbers on the network side, you messed up. You done messed up somewhere, right? Now we have 6 printers. Really, during a test, it would be this. Yes, 100%. During a test, it would be a /29. I've never seen a test where it gives you one that's so close like that. It's always like, you have 12 printers or you have 4 printers, something like that, right? So we're doing a subnetting today because I've got a lot of questions on subnetting in Discord lately. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this 16. Are we going to be wasting IP addresses? Sure. Okay, we got 6 printers. We're going to be using a total of 16 IPs for it. Oh, well, we need to take that 16. We can't put it anywhere else. All right, so what's 96 plus 16? I suck at math. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come down here. And we're just going to say equals that plus 16. 112. Okay, so we come up here, 111. Right, then we have 97 through 110. that are usable IP addresses. Lastly, we have our VTC devices. We can't use this for, because my God, we get rid of one of those freaking for the gateway, right? Like I said, during tests it's different. Okay, that's why I hate tests. They don't make any sense. All right, but we're gonna have to use this 8. Okay, so we have 5 usable IP addresses. So we're gonna do plus 8 at the end here. So we're gonna say 112 plus 8 equals 120, right? 119, and then we'll do 113 through 118, and there we go. That is our network. All right, so we got computers, phones, printers, VTC. If we were to add right now a 128 into here, okay, we cannot just add 128 onto this. That's why I said to start from biggest to smallest. If we go to add that 128 in here, a /25, it'll encompass this whole 0 network. So we would have to go back up to something that is divisible by 128, which is 128, right? So we would have to go all the way back. We would have to get to 128. So we would have a wasted IP space of 8 IP addresses because we have to get back up to 128. If we had to do a 64 like right now, we would need to find something that's divisible by 64. So if we did 64, 96, so let's see here, 64 times 3, right? We would have to get up to 192. Okay? Because we got 0 to 64, that's 1. Actually, we'd only need to do it by 2. We could get up to 128 again for 64. Okay? So we could so we'd be missing 8 IP addresses again. All right? That's why I said to work from biggest to smallest. Because if you go to something that's not divisible by it, it's going to encompass everything else. All right? So it's going to encompass all of this stuff. All right? So if we go to a 32 like right now, though, all right, so we take 32, 64, 96, 96 plus 32 equals 128. Okay, so no matter what, this 120 network's pretty screwed, like right here, right? So we would have to get back up to 128 and then do it from there, right? So we'd have to plus 8, which would be 128, right? 127, and then we'd have a wasted IP space of 121 through 126. Okay, we would have that. All right, and then we would start back over at the 128 section. Hopefully you guys understood that part. Now the actual subnet itself. How do we get the subnet? Right, I always start, like I said, right to left. So I do .255. A .1 is .255, .255, .255, .255. Then we got .254, .253, right? .252, excuse me, not .252. That's not 253 either. Okay. I'm fucking losing myself. I usually don't start that one right to left. I was trying to do that, but I usually don't. This is a .0. All right. So a /24 with a .0. 0 plus 128 equals what? .128, right? That's the easiest one. Easiest one, like right there. 128, and this is going to be your actual net mask. All right, 128 plus 64 equals what? So we'll take 128 plus 64. We should get 192. So we're going to do a .192. 192 plus 32 equals what? Right? And we're just going to keep doing this, okay? So we just say equals that guy plus that guy, like right there. Enter. Or you can just tell me to fuck off. Oh, probably says dot. Dot 192 equals 192 plus 32. Or you can just tell me to fuck off. Either way. All right. It should be 224. All right. Let's make sure that's right. All right. 224. 224 plus 16 equals .240. All right. 240 plus 8 equals .248. 248 plus 4 equals .252. 252 plus 2 equals .254. Like I said, once you get to this point, you're now in Cisco proprietary territory. All right, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Once we get all the way up to here, and we get this .255, in case you guys wonder, well, how the hell do I do a class B, right? Or 512? It starts over again. So it goes .255, .254, .252. As you can see, we just kind of start to work off of what we already have, right? .248. Except for this one over here is going to be a 0. It's going to look like this. 255.255.248.0. That's how that one will look, all right? This guy over here, let's say this one, we'll do .255.255.255.0. That's how he would look. Okay? There. This guy would be .255. 255, I don't know why I put a dot before all that. There we go. Be 255.255.255.128. Okay, then we just keep going. All right, 255.255.255.192. Okay. Like I said, these guys over here, it's going to be 255.255.252.0. This will be .254.0. We'll just keep going like that. All the way up to 255.255. This guy's actually 248. This guy's not a 255. Sorry about that. This guy's actually a .254. So it's like right here would be 254. Then we work our way back from there. 254, 252, my fault. 248. This is why I like to fucking draw it out first. 240. All right. Because this guy would be 255, 255, .255, .254.0. And that would be your 512 hosts, like right there. All right. And then this guy, like right here, would be 255.255.252.0. All right. And it'll just keep working like that. All the way back to 255.255.0.0. Okay. So that is subnetting for a /24 network, right? Utilizing the goalpost method. That's the goalpost method, like right there. I'm confused, this networking part. Oh God, Jay, I just did the whole thing. What are you confused on, Jay? Or are you confused that I'm doing networking? All right. Remember, always work from biggest to smallest. Okay, most of you guys are probably going to be working in this area like right here. All right, just add in. All right, start from right to left for everything, except for obviously the net mass there. But start from right to left for everything. Okay. These guys don't matter unless you're using Cisco proprietary stuff. Other than that, they don't matter. Okay. And then we just go on and we just start this guy off, right? How many hosts, usable hosts you can have, right? We just go through. All right, so you just keep times it by 2 all the way across. All right, starts at /32, works its way down all the way across. Right. From there, I like to subtract by 3. Remember, if you're taking a test, you subtract by 2. I subtract by 3. I start at 4. And we're just going to take this guy. 4 minus 3 equals 1. 8 minus 3 equals 5. 16 minus 3 is 16. 32 minus 3, 29. We just keep going, right? Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Because of the gateway. And then from there, we go ahead and we make our goalpost, our network, host, broadcast. And then we start to throw everything in there, right? We got 59 computers. So the network's going to start at 0. We need to use a /26 for that guy, right? Which is going to have 64 IPs. 61 usable. On a test, it would be 62. But that is everything. Just make sure that during test, you don't subtract by 3. Make sure you subtract by 2 during test. That's the biggest thing. All right. But in real life, what you're going to do in the real world, if you need 62 computers and you do a /26, you will not get 62 computers because one of those is the gateway. All right. So you will not get 62 computers. You will have 61. And someone's going to be SOL. So that is subnetting with the goalpost method in a real world application, not this bullshit ass -by 2 during test, -by 2.